Today I will be talking about a spreading epidemic that few people are fully aware of: factory farming. When people hear the word factory farming, they may think of cheap fast food chains such as McDonald's, Burger King, or Taco Bell with poor quality meat. These food chains have been in the media recently for using a product called pink slime. Pink slime is a filler of processed scraps of beef trimmings and fat that is treated with ammonia. However, fast food chains are not the only players in this game. Even your local grocery store is contaminated. Your children's schools have been using pink slime since the 1990s. Pink slime is just one issue that is produced by factory farming. Antibiotic immunity, water contamination, air pollution, and both human and animal cruelty are also huge factors. Antibiotics save millions of lives, and they are one of the greatest medical achievements in history. However, due to modern factory farming, their effectiveness is rapidly decreasing. Factory farms routinely feed their livestock a dose of antibiotics with every meal. When this is done, the bacteria in the animal's guts that are susceptible to the drugs are killed. When this practice is ongoing, it creates a microbial vacuum in the animal's intestines that gives an extraordinary competitive advantage to any bacteria that develop resistance to the antibiotics. John Robbins from the Huffington Post said that even Sir Alexander Fleming, the man who discovered penicillin, warned that overuse of the drug would lead to bacterial resistance. Due to the heavy overuse of antibiotics in factory farming, between 70,000 and 100,000 Americans will die from infections that once were able to be cured with common antibiotics. Only 30% of antibiotics used in the U.S. are administered to people to treat disease, while the other 70% are administered to livestock primarily to keep them from dying before they can be fat enough to slaughter. You may be thinking, what's wrong with keeping the animals healthy? Factory farms use antibiotics as growth promotants. Animals become so mutated from their unnatural size that their muscles and bones no longer work and they can't even move. They are forced to lay in their own waste and even amongst dead cellmates. Water is an extremely important resource for us to have on Earth. Without it, we will have nothing. Giant livestock farms, which can house hundreds of thousands of pigs, chickens, or cows, produce vast amounts of manure, often generating the waste equivalent of a small city. A problem of this nature is hard to imagine, and this pollution is seriously threatening humans, fish, and ecosystems. California officials identify agriculture as the major source of nitrate pollution in more than 100,000 square miles of groundwater. In 1996, the Centers of Disease Control established a link between spontaneous abortions and high nitrate levels in Indiana drinking water wells that were located close to feedlots. High levels of nitrates in drinking water also increase the risk of blue baby syndrome, which can kill infants. Animal waste contains disease-causing pathogens such as Salmonella, E. coli, Cryptosporidium, and fecal coliform, which can be transferred to humans through manure. Manure runoff affects aquatic life as well. Nutrients in animal waste cause algal blooms, which can use up oxygen in the water, contributing to a dead zone. There is a dead zone today in the Gulf of Mexico, where there's not enough oxygen to support aquatic life. The dead zone fluctuates in size each year, extending a record 8,500 square miles during the summer of 2002 and stretching over 7,700 square miles in 2010. Our air is being polluted every day by numerous toxins. However, factory farms are one of the largest contributors. Industrial farms pollute the air in many ways, emitting foul odors, airborne particles, greenhouse gases, and numerous toxic chemicals. In the U.S. and elsewhere, farms are leading producers of noxious substances such as nitrous oxide and ammonia. The USDA estimates that more than 335 million tons of manure are produced annually on U.S. farms. Stored for long periods of time in giant tanks or lagoons, the animal waste decomposes and pollutes the air with hundreds of gases. Hydrogen sulfide, methane, ammonia, and carbon dioxide are the major hazardous gases produced by manure. The EPA estimates that methane emissions from manure increased 26% in the U.S. between 1990 and 2004. North Carolina's hog industry produces over 300 tons of ammonia each day. Due to the low-quality grain-based feed that factory farms feed their livestock, primarily cows, 20% of all man-made methane production comes from digestion. Cows and other livestock were not built to digest the grains in their food, causing them to produce tons of methane daily. The vast crops required for this animal feed also pollutes the air and soil due to the large amounts of synthetic fertilizers used. At sustainabletables.com, it lists that these fertilizers alone led to a whopping 68% of the nitrous oxide released into the atmosphere. Animal cruelty is probably one of the biggest issues surrounding factory farms. It is also the most known issue when you talk about industrial farming. 10 billion animals are killed for food every year in the U.S. alone in factory farming operations. The abuse towards these animals before death is disgusting. Chickens have their beaks seared off with a hot blade with no anesthesia to avoid pecking each other. These birds have an intelligence level similar to cats, dogs, and even primates. Chickens become so top-heavy from growth hormones that they can no longer support their own body weight and die from starvation only inches away from their food and water. By the time they reach slaughter, 29% of chickens have broken bones due to the horrid living conditions. Stunning chickens for more humane slaughter is not required in factory farming, as birds are exempt from the HSA. The shackled birds are fully conscious when they reach mechanical blades that cut their throats, then they are moved to scalding tanks where they are boiled alive. Egg-laying hens are thrown into wood chippers to dispose of them when they are not meeting their egg-laying quota. Cows are another factory farmed animal. A standard beef slaughterhouse kills 250 cows per hour. The high speed of production makes the Humane Slaughter Act guidelines difficult to follow, and cattle are not properly stunned before slaughter, meaning they are fully alive and conscious while machines dismember them piece by piece. Slowing down the line to ensure that animals were properly killed is unheard of, and workers who alert officials of slaughterhouse abuse risk losing their jobs. Sick animals are forced along by cattle prods, poles, and even bulldozers when too sick to walk. Dairy cows are artificially impregnated to produce milk, and once they give birth, their calves are immediately taken and sent to make veal or raised to be dairy cows as well. Pigs are yet another animal being mistreated by factory farming. Pigs are highly intelligent and are smarter than a 3-year-old child. Pigs are forced to live in pens only 2 feet wide, where they can barely lie down. Shortly after birth, piglets are taken and their ears are chipped, teeth are clipped, and tails are cut off. The males are then castrated, and all of it is done without painkillers. Pigs that don't grow quick enough are killed by the workers by slamming their heads into the concrete floors that they are forced to stand on. 1 million pigs die every year due to transport, where limbs snap beneath them and freeze to the truck sides. They all die from hydration. The conditions for the workers of factory farms are also cruel. They are exposed to extreme levels of ammonia, dust, hydrogen sulfide, drugs, and hormones. In conclusion, I'm not asking you to be a vegan or a vegetarian. All I'm asking is that you educate yourself about what you're putting into your body and into your family's bodies. You can find multiple stores that support humane killing, and all of their animals are not treated the same as in a factory farm. You can find a list of those on PETA. There are multiple grocery stores such as Albertsons or Costco that you can also shop at. So all I'm saying is you need to educate yourself and realize what you're putting in your mouth.